How's everyone doing? Well, today I decided to jump on here and share a little bit about nutrition labels, which is very intimidating because we're taught so many different things about them. So I just thought, why not jump on here and teach you a little bit about nutrition labels. So I have a few items here from my pantry that, I don't know if you can see them, but a few items that I'm going to be sharing with you about. Just 4 little things here, but I'm going to be teaching a little bit about how to read nutrition labels because it can be totally confusing. And the reason why it's so confusing is because we're taught so many things. Because one, it shows so many things on these nutrition labels. But at different times in our life, there's been different fads going around, and it teaches us, pay attention to calories, like count your calories, and, use this app to count your calories, which can be helpful. I have had success with that in the past, but I've also learned that counting calories isn't gonna fix all your problems. So, and also then we're told, oh, don't eat a bunch of carbs, so pay attention to carbs or the fats or the sugars, and it gets overwhelming. I remember I used to be so overwhelmed by nutrition labels. And yeah, if you have to pay attention to all 4 of those things, that's super overwhelming because you don't really know which one is the best. It's really hard to find one where they're all low. They're all gonna be like great for you. So I'm going to teach you what I do, how to read nutrition labels specifically for the sugar because that's what I care about because I'm sugar-free, and I want to teach you how to make living a sugar-free lifestyle simple. So I'm going to teach you how to simply read these nutrition labels and also share with you why I don't pay a lot of attention to other things other than the sugar content. So I'll start with that. So the reason why I pay attention to sugar content is because I went sugar-free and that was the big thing to me. But for me, whenever you start eating real clean food, so you're eating like fruits and veggies and meats and things that aren't necessarily out of a box. There's some things that aren't bad. This is not one I would suggest eating. This is an example that my husband eats that I don't suggest. But there are some granolas that are made that are raw, good. But a lot of things like in the frozen section, you want to steer clear of it. So why not go sugar-free? Well, there's a whole segment on that, but I can share really quickly. It started when I became a mom in 2014. I kind of just thinking about children and how sugar impacts children. And a lot of times you see, right now you're seeing like a huge rise in obesity, which causes premature diabetes, which causes all these health issues. There's crazy statistics on kids getting knee replacements by the age of 13 and things like that because of overweight. And plus, a lot of times kids are already hyper and excited, and sugar can impact them and affect them in school and their behavior and different learning things. And so I just didn't even want to expose my son to that. He'll be 2 in April, and so I decided in 2015 to give up sugar. I gave it up for the entire year, and I'm still headed on that track, loving the lifestyle. And it is a little bit harder now that I'm pregnant again because some things that I ate the whole 27 years of my life before I went sugar-free. They still kind of get me sometimes. I want them, but it's still a great lifestyle to live. So going back, so the reason why I pay attention to sugar is because because whenever you're eating real food, so you're not eating all the processed stuff, you're not shopping in the frozen section and getting all the frozen foods, but you are paying attention to, I've said this before, but you're shopping on the outside of the grocery store. You're getting real foods, real veggies, meats, and that's the kind of stuff that you're eating. Then you don't have to worry about all those things, in my opinion, because you're feeding your body real whole foods. You're not eating as many grains. You're not eating all the processed stuff. You're eating real food. And so you get to a point where you don't have to worry about all the carbs and calories and things like that. And so I started paying attention to sugar because there still is sugar in some things that you think might be healthy. And so I'm going to share with you today how to read the nutrition label specifically for sugar, because even that can be confusing because these things can be confusing. So I'm going to show you, this is a very healthy little bar. I just started buying these, just trying them out from Natural Grocers. I've had one. It was really good. I haven't tried this flavor yet, but so if you look on the back, very simple, it has the sugar content. I'm going to hold it really still. So the sugar content says 7 grams of sugar. So if you just look at this nutrition facts, you would, if you're going sugar-free, you would toss this aside, not buy it, right? But what you need to do when looking for sugar is not only look at the nutrition label, but look at the ingredient list. Because what our food industry does not do is they don't separate natural sugars from processed sugars, which is a big deal because when you're sugar-free, there are certain natural sugars that, at least in my opinion, are okay to eat. So things that come from, like this one, what does it have? I think it has raw honey. I eat honey because honey is natural, it's good for you, and so I eat it. So there's probably going to be sugar in the honey, natural sugars, and so it's accounting for that on the grams of sugar in the nutrition label. And so you have to look and just make sure there's no added sugar, any processed sugar in the ingredient list. Does that make sense? So I'm going to show you another example. This is something I just started buying these for my son. Like I said, he's 2, a little snack sometimes. I don't eat a ton of like dried fruit because it does have a lot of processed, not a lot of natural sugar in it, and even that can be a little bit too much sometimes. But on occasion, he has these little fruit leathers. But on the back of this, it says 9 grams of sugar, which is a lot, right? Except for, if you look, it all comes from fruit. And like I said, I try to stay away from a lot of fruit juices and fruit, but on occasion we have these. But if you look, there's no added sugar, there's no brown sugar, there's no nothing. And so that is good. And so the sugars on the ingredient or on the nutrition label are actually real sugars. Same thing with canned tomatoes. So, you know, a lot of things you cook can use canned tomatoes, or you can just slice your own. Either way, it's gonna say sugar. So on a canned tomato with no salt added, it's just canned tomatoes and water probably. There are 3 grams of sugar. So it's like, really, you put sugar in tomatoes? But no, you have to look at the ingredient list. And on this list, it says tomatoes, tomato juice, and citric acid. So that is because there are natural fruits in tomatoes. So it's going to say on the nutrition label. So it really is confusing because they don't separate sugars in our FDA. They don't separate them. They just combine them all. So you have to look at both the nutrition label and the ingredient list to really get an accurate reading of what sugars are in your foods. And lastly, here's one. Like I said, this one I would not suggest eating, but I'm going to show you the example. This one says 11 grams of sugar. Do you see it right up here? 11 grams of sugar. And if I go to the ingredient list, well, the second thing on the list is milled cane sugar, which means there's sugar in it. So this I would say not to eat. My husband does eat this. I used to eat it a lot before I went sugar-free, but it is good. But I found alternative granola that I can eat that doesn't have added sugar, that has like honey or coconut in it or something to make it sweet. So just know you have to look at both. You need to see how many grams of sugar in it, and then where does that sugar come from? Is it coming from dates and honey, or is it coming from sugar? And so another tricky thing is that sometimes the sugars can be hidden by the names. Good. I'm so glad it's helpful. So one other thing is they can be hidden by different names, using different names. Like this one said, it still says the word sugar, but it says milled cane sugar. And it's like, well, is that good or bad? And really, there's so many names for sugar. You have to be very careful. And so one thing in March, if you haven't heard, I'm launching a sugar-free academy, 21 days. And I'm teaching you how to get rid of sugar, how to make it a lifestyle to be sugar-free. I have so many awesome things planned, so much great information to help you get rid of sugar and replace it with good, healthy things. And so one thing I'll be giving away for free is a little business card size so it can stick in your wallet, little card that has all the names of sugars in it. So that when you're at the grocery store, if you're reading the label and you look at the ingredient list and you see there's a weird name, like is that a hidden name for sugar or is it something else, you can look on your list and find if it's there or not. And if it is, then you don't want to get it. But anyway, so I hope that's been helpful. If you are interested in getting more information about my Sugar-Free Academy, which launches on March 21st, then you can leave your email for me and I will email you information in regards to that. I would love to give you more information and help you create a sugar-free lifestyle and just see the benefits of it. You really do gain more energy. Weight tends to just fall off. You feel better about yourself. You get rid of those crazy cravings of like always feeling like you need something sweet, or you just have more control over your life. So if you're interested, leave your email and I'd love to give you more information. Otherwise, have a great day.